Imagen Suena con Carlos González.
Hola amigos de Imagen Suena, estamos aquí en el CutOut trayéndoles todo lo que está pasando en este hermosísimo evento y ahora me está acompañando nada más y nada menos que uno de los ponentes más destacados de este evento, que es nada más y nada menos que Noah Harris. Welcome to Mexico and welcome to Querétaro too.
Thank you.
Yes, and now tell us about you. Who is Noah Harris?
I am a director and a graphic designer. I work in advertising and music videos and short films and that kind of stuff. That's me.
Perfect, nice. Now tell us about what do you like more? Do you like more the graphic designer, I don't know.
Directing. I guess I like doing graphic design, but I don't really make money out of it. It's kind of more something that I do for fun. So directing and working in film and animation is more my job, I suppose. It's what I do, but I love that as well. I'm very lucky. I have a job that I love.
Perfect. Yes, perfect. Now tell us about you. Why do you like to do this?
Why do I like to do this? Well, it's not really work, is it? It's more like playing, really, and having fun, you know. So if I can get to go to Mexico and talk about why I like doing this, then that's a good part of my life, right? But, you know, I get to travel and I get to go to amazing places and film with amazingly talented people. And I get to work with musicians and people that I really respect and I really admire. And I get to make new stuff all the time, which is kind of important to me, you know, being creative.
Oh, nice. So tell us, what do you think about the animation or the music industry here in Mexico?
I don't know anything about it at all.
Perfect, nice. So tell us a little bit about your work in the Gorillaz band.
Okay, yeah, so I've done 2 projects with Gorillaz. And the first one was actually a commercial for an energy company called E.ON that was a tie-in with Gorillaz, so they were sort of involved in it a bit. And then after that, I did a music video for them for a track called Garage Palace with Little Sims, which is a 2D animated, kind of 16-bit homage to video games.
Perfect. So tell us about, I don't know, maybe your childhood or yes, something like that.
Okay. So I grew up in the countryside in Devon in England, which is kind of farming country, very beautiful, rains a lot, lots of greenery, lots of cows, lots of farmers. And I lived there till I was 18. I studied photography. My mum was a photographer, so I had a darkroom at home, so I studied photography, but I wasn't really very good at it. Then 1991, rave culture kind of hit the UK, and I stopped going to college and went partying for a couple of years. And then I studied graphic design. And then when I started working in TV branding and a bit of animation. And then I set up and ran a design company, an animation company. And then I've been sort of directing independently for about 10 years.
Nice, thank you. So it is difficult to be a great person in this media?
Is it difficult to be a great person in
the animation industry?
How do you mean?
For example, to be recognized around the world?
I see. Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, you know, I think there are people at this festival who are true artists, you know, whereas I kind of make commercials, and I'm a commercial. I work in the advertising industry, and once or twice a year I make a really creative piece of work. But I think that as what I do in advertising, yeah, it's quite difficult to be kind of famous or whatever, but I don't think you really do that to be famous, you know. I think if you want to be famous, then go and direct feature films, you know, or something like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to live.
Yes. So, any words that you want to say for the future animators?
Yeah, just keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So, do you like Mexico? Do you like here in
I love
Querétaro?
it. It's the first time I've been here, and I only got here yesterday, or the night before last actually, and I went to Mexico City, and I went out and had some food and a beer, and then I gave a talk at a university in Mexico City yesterday, and then we drove to Querétaro, and I've been here, and so got here sort of yesterday afternoon. So today I've just been walking around, and it's amazing. Day of the Dead obviously is really, lots of skulls everywhere, which I love. So I've only seen about 4 hours of Mexico properly, but I love it.
Oh, perfect. Do you like, for example, our celebration like the, I don't know, maybe the Death Days?
The Day of the Dead?
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I was walking around the market today, and I just want all that plastic crap, all the skulls and all the skeletons. I want it all, and I want to take it home. And I might take some home for my kids.
Oh, yes. It's really nice. And I don't know, maybe tell us what is your favorite technique or your favorite kind of animation?
That is interesting because, I mean, it really depends what the end result is, So I like to use stop frame animation. I guess stop frame animation is probably the one that I like using the most because it's very physical and very hands-on. So for me, it's a great way of making something real kind of come to life, But I like the way that I use stop frame is very different to how it's used traditionally, So the subject matter that I choose and the design language that I use is quite different to a lot of the stop frame that you see,
Okay. And what do you think about, I don't know, maybe the 3D animation?
Yeah, 3D animation is great, like I love watching Pixar films and stuff like that. And I use CG in my work as well. I feel when I work in CG or 3D animation, I personally feel a little bit less in control of what's happening. Whereas when I'm in a studio or on a shoot and I've got my people there, my animators or my cameraman or stuff like that, I feel much more in control of it because it's there in front of me. So working with CG, full CG, kind of fills me with fear a little bit sometimes, but it's good.
Okay, nice. And I don't know, maybe what about possibly your favorite movie or your favorite book?
Oh, favorite book. My favorite book is actually partially based in Mexico. And it's by Cormac McCarthy, and it's called Blood Meridian, and it's about the Mexican Apache Wars, and it's incredibly violent, but it's incredibly beautifully written. Mm-hmm. Now, my next favorite book it's a trilogy, and it's about the border between Mexico and America, and it's called The Border Trilogy, and it's also by Cormac McCarthy. And then I would say my next favorite book is The Book of Dave by Will Self, which is absolutely amazing. Favorite films? That's a really tricky one. My memory's not brilliant, but my favorite films that always come to my mind when I think about films are The Revenant. I mean, as a filmmaker, that guy is just unbelievable. To be able to make that and to make Birdman and to make Amores Perros, it's just unbelievable. He's an absolute genius. And then I really like the Jesse James film with Brad Pitt in it. And I can't remember what it's called. I'm obsessed with Westerns.
Yes.
I love Westerns, and that's a beautiful modern Western.
Perfect. And to finally, any medias or any social media that we have to find your work?
I don't really use social media. I use Instagram for work, and that is it. But I don't really like social media. So I don't use Facebook or Twitter or any of that stuff. But Instagram. You can find me on Instagram.
Okay, how can I find you in Instagram?
Noah Harris _studio.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you so much for the interview. Welcome to Mexico again. And yes, and please enjoy your time in Mexico.
Thank you. I will.
Okay. Y eso es todo hoy, amigos de Imagen Suena. Él es Noah Harris y seguimos llevándoles contenido bonito para ustedes desde el CutOut Fest. Nos vemos la próxima.
Imagen Suena con Carlos González.